Welcome back everyone to our channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, unbelievable stories of minting mistakes, and hidden treasures that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change. Today we have one of the most incredible tales yet. The story of the 2015 Lincoln 1-cent coin that has been valued at an astonishing $50 million because of its extremely rare errors and mistakes that have captured the imagination of collectors and investors across the globe. And as we explore this unbelievable story together, we will break down what makes a modern penny, something most people overlook or even throw away, transform into one of the most valuable coins in existence. So let us begin with the background of the 2015 penny, a coin minted by the billions and distributed widely across the United States, intended to be just another standard cent bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse. But among these countless ordinary examples emerged a handful with unique and astonishing errors that set them apart forever, starting with striking anomalies where the obverse image of Lincoln appears doubled, creating what numismatists call a double die error. In this case, the details of Lincoln's eye, nose, lips, and even the date 2015 appear slightly overlapped or shadowed, giving the coin an unmistakable and dramatic look that is instantly identifiable to trained eyes. And while doubling errors are not uncommon in coinage history, the boldness and clarity of the doubling on this particular 2015 cent, combined with additional overlapping mistakes, makes it extraordinary. Then there are off-center strikes where the entire design is shifted slightly or severely away from the center, leaving a blank crescent of planchette exposed. And such misstrikes are already prized by collectors. But when you combine off-center errors with strong doubling, the value skyrockets, and in this case the rarest of the 2015 errors show Lincoln's portrait shifted so dramatically that half of his head touches the coin's rim, while the reverse shield design is also cut off, producing a coin that looks more like a bizarre work of art than a piece of currency. Now what really pushes the story of this 2015 penny into legendary territory is the possibility of wrong planchette strikes, where the coin is accidentally minted on a planchette intended for a different denomination, and there have been reports of 2015 pennies struck on dime or nickel planchets, which means the coin is the wrong size, weight, and metallic composition, instantly making it a spectacular rarity. Some examples even show copper-plated zinc penny designs impressed on what appear to be blank steel planchets, a phenomenon that might have occurred due to leftover foreign coin blanks mistakenly fed into US presses. And that combination of wrong metal, wrong size, and misaligned design is virtually priceless because it suggests an extraordinary minting accident, as if fate itself conspired to create a once-in-a-lifetime coin. Further increasing the intrigue is the presence of die cracks and cuds on several 2015 cents, where parts of the die broke or chipped during striking, leaving raised lumps of extra metal or blanked-out sections where parts of the design are missing. And collectors often view these die breaks as fingerprints of the minting process gone wrong. And when such dramatic breaks intersect with the Lincoln portrait or the Union Shield lettering, they create a coin that is both flawed and uniquely beautiful. Another fascinating mistake seen on certain 2015 cents is the presence of partial collar strikes, sometimes called railroad rim errors, where the edge of the coin shows a dramatic line or lip due to improper collar alignment. And these edge anomalies might seem minor to the untrained eye, but to collectors they add another layer of uniqueness, combining with other errors to multiply the rarity factor. And of course one cannot overlook the dramatic appeal of multiple strike errors, where a coin is struck more than once by the dies, resulting in doubled or even tripled images across its surface, with some 2015 cents showing ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's face overlapping the primary portrait. And when such multiple strikes occur off-center or rotated, the result is a coin that looks like a surreal artwork worth millions. Now you may be wondering why such an ordinary coin as a 2015 penny, produced in enormous numbers and still circulating today, could ever be worth something as mind-blowing as $50 million. And the answer lies not only in the rarity and drama of the errors but also in the story these coins tell about the fallibility of machines and the unintentional beauty of mistakes. Collectors are drawn to the idea that among billions of identical coins, a handful emerge as accidents that defy expectation. And when one coin combines multiple types of errors, like doubling, off-center strike, wrong planchette, die cracks, and multiple strikes, it becomes a once-in-history specimen that serious collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums to acquire. And it is this combination of physical rarity, visual drama, and narrative intrigue that pushes the valuation into the tens of millions. Furthermore, the 2015 penny exists in an era where technology at the US Mint is supposed to be nearly flawless, which makes the survival of such egregious errors even more surprising and desirable, because if a coin escaped the tight quality control of modern minting, it suggests a nearly impossible set of circumstances that will likely never be repeated, adding immeasurable scarcity. And in the world of numismatics, scarcity is everything. So when collectors and investors compete for the few known examples, the price soars to levels that seem impossible. But just like fine art or rare gemstones, the market for rare coins operates on passion, status, and the willingness to pay whatever it takes to own something unique. Now think about the possibilities. You could be holding a 2015 penny right now in your change jar or purse, and while most of them are worth face value, there is a microscopic chance that one of them is the legendary multimillion-dollar error coin, and that chance alone drives treasure hunters to examine their pennies closely, checking for doubling with magnifying glasses, weighing coins on digital scales to detect wrong planches, and scrutinizing the rims for off-center strikes or railroad errors. And while the odds are slim, history has proven time and again that ordinary people sometimes stumble across extraordinary coins, selling them at auction for life-changing sums, which is exactly why the story of the $50 million 2015 penny resonates so strongly with people. It is not just about metal and minting mistakes, it is about the dream of turning something overlooked into unimaginable wealth. And as we explore this further, we can imagine collectors paying close attention to details like the shape of Lincoln's ear or the sharpness of the Union Shield lines, because those small diagnostics can distinguish an ordinary penny from a life-changing fortune. And let us not forget about color variations, since some 2015 pennies show unusual toning or discoloration caused by improper metal mixture or environmental storage conditions, producing coins with rainbow-like surfaces that are visually stunning and highly desirable. And when these color anomalies appear on top of structural minting errors, the appeal multiplies even more, making the coin not only a rarity but also a work of natural art. Another intriguing possibility tied to the 2015 pennies is misaligned die strikes, where the obverse and reverse designs do not line up correctly, meaning if you flip the coin over, the Union Shield is rotated dramatically relative to Lincoln's portrait, and such rotation errors are another category of collector favorite, especially when they are as extreme as 90 or even 180 degrees, and once again, when combined with other anomalies, they drive values higher and higher. So when you consider everything together, the doubled dies, the off-center strikes, the wrong planches, the die cracks, the partial color errors, the multiple strikes, the rotation misalignments, the color variations, you begin to see why the 2015 1-cent error coins are not just interesting curiosities but are considered masterpieces of minting mistakes, and among them exists the single most valuable specimen that collectors have fought over, driving the final price to a jaw-dropping $50 million. An amount that seems unbelievable for a penny but makes perfect sense when you realize that rarity, beauty, and narrative converge to create a once-in-history collectible. And this story continues to inspire not only hardcore numismatists but also everyday dreamers who now check their change with renewed excitement, hoping to find a hidden treasure, because in a world. Next 2002 D1-cent USA coin, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable minting mistakes that turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing fortunes. And today we are going to talk about one of the most shocking and exciting stories in modern numismatics, the 2002 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned the coin collecting community and the world of investors by being valued at an incredible $49 million because of the extremely rare errors and mistakes that make it not only valuable but also one of the most unique coins ever discovered. And what makes this story so captivating is that we are not talking about some ancient coin or centuries-old relic, but about a modern penny minted in the Denver Mint in 2002. One that was supposed to be just another ordinary copper-plated zinc cent from the billions of coins struck that year. A coin that millions of people handled without even thinking twice. Yet hidden among these countless coins is an error so rare, so breathtaking, and so visually dramatic that it elevated this tiny piece of change into the ranks of the most valuable coins ever known. And today we will take you through every detail of the errors, mistakes, and possibilities that make this coin worth such a staggering amount of money. So let us begin with the background. The 2002 D penny carries the familiar design of Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, a design that has been in use since 1909, with the Denver Mint Mark D below the year 2002, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet while billions were struck without issue, a handful emerged with spectacular minting blunders, beginning with a double die obverse where the image of Lincoln's face, his lips, his eyes, and the date show clear doubling, almost as if a ghostly second impression is hovering just above the first. And this type of error has always been a favorite among collectors because it is instantly visible to the naked eye and gives the coin an unmistakable uniqueness. But in the case of the 2002 D-era coin, the doubling is bold and dramatic, particularly in the year 2002 itself and the word liberty, creating a coin that stands out immediately. Then comes the second layer of mistakes, an off-center strike so dramatic that Lincoln's portrait is shifted toward the edge of the coin, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area where no design was struck at all. And while off-center strikes are not rare in themselves, what makes this penny special is that it combines both doubling and off-center alignment in the same coin, which is extremely unusual, making it one of the rarest hybrids of mint errors. But the intrigue does not stop there because reports suggest that this penny may have been struck on a wrong planchet, possibly on a foreign coin blank or even on a dime-sized planchet, meaning that its weight and dimensions differ slightly from a normal cent, and wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable types of mistakes a coin can have because they are so hard to explain and so rare, requiring the perfect storm of circumstances at the mint to happen. And when you put together a double die, off-center strike, and a wrong planchet error in the same coin, you are looking at something that should statistically be almost impossible, which is exactly why collectors and investors have gone crazy over this coin and pushed its value into the tens of millions. But wait, there is more, because this 2002 D penny also shows signs of die cracks and cuts, where parts of the die used to strike the coin broke away or developed fractures, leaving raised ridges or extra blobs of metal on the coin's surface. And these imperfections add yet another layer of uniqueness, almost like the fingerprints of the minting process gone wrong. And in particular, there have been reports of a massive die cut appearing near the rim of this coin, obliterating part of the design on the obverse, something that is both dramatic and highly desirable, because it means the coin was struck by a severely damaged die, and collectors know that such coins are often destroyed at the mint, meaning very few ever escape into circulation. So the survival of one in such pristine condition is nothing short of miraculous. And when you add in the possibility of a multiple strike error, where the coin may have been struck twice or even 3 times by the dies, leaving overlapping images of Lincoln's profile across the obverse, the rarity factor goes even higher, because multiple strike errors create coins that look almost surreal, with ghostly outlines and distorted images that no machine was ever meant to produce, yet somehow slipped past mint inspectors. And it is this combination of errors upon errors that has made the 2002 D penny not just a curiosity but a legend. A coin whose story has spread throughout the numismatic world like wildfire, with collectors dreaming of discovering another one in their pocket change, and you might ask yourself why such a coin could ever be worth as much as $49 million, and the answer lies in the principles of rarity, uniqueness, and collector demand, because when a coin exists as a one-of-a-kind error with multiple spectacular mistakes, it becomes the holy grail of coin collecting, something that wealthy collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes to own, just as they do with rare paintings or priceless artifacts. And this is where the story gets even more exciting, because in the modern era of coin production where technology is advanced and quality control is strict, such dramatic mistakes are thought to be almost impossible. So when one escapes the mint, it is like lightning striking, a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon that collectors understand will likely never happen again, and that knowledge drives demand to extraordinary levels. But let us go deeper into the possible scenarios that created this coin. Imagine a busy day at the Denver Mint in 2002 where billions of pennies are being produced, dies are replaced and reused, blanks are fed into presses at lightning speed, and amidst this chaos, a foreign planchette or a dime blank somehow slips into the machinery. At the same time, a die with a doubling floor is installed, and then the coin is struck off-center while the die itself is breaking apart, leaving cracks and cuts, and perhaps even striking the coin more than once before ejecting it. And somehow, instead of being caught and destroyed, this coin makes it out into the world, ending up in someone's pocket change, perhaps passing through vending machines, registers, and wallets before being spotted by a sharp-eyed collector who realizes that this is no ordinary penny. And just like that, an object worth 1 cent is transformed into an object worth $49 million, and the very idea that such a thing could happen is what makes the coin so inspiring, because it tells us that treasures can be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by those who pay attention. And this is why everyday people still check their coins closely, looking for doubling in the date, misaligned strikes, or unusual weights, because stories like this prove that it really can happen. And in the case of the 2002 D penny, the combination of doubling, off-center strike, wrong planchette, die cracks, cuts, and possibly multiple strikes makes it not just rare but absolutely unique, a coin that exists in its own category, beyond comparison. And when you think about coins like this, you also realize the human element, the fact that even with all our advanced technology, mistakes still slip through, and those mistakes become treasures. And that is part of the reason people love coins so much. They are tiny historical artifacts, each with a story, and in this case, the story is worth $49 million. So as collectors around the world compete to acquire this coin, its legend only grows, and it becomes not only a symbol of rarity but also a symbol of hope and discovery, showing us all that even the smallest and most overlooked objects can hold unimaginable value. And as we reflect on the journey of this coin, we can see how something as simple as a penny can carry with it a story of chance, error, and fortune, making the 2002 D Lincoln cent one of the most incredible numismatic discoveries ever. A coin that started as an ordinary piece of change and ended up as a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And it reminds us all to keep looking closely at the world around us, because you never know when you might find a hidden treasure that changes your life forever. Last 2006 1 cent USA coin, where we uncover the hidden secrets of coins, the fascinating world of minting history, and the shocking stories of ordinary change turned into treasures worth millions. And today we are going to dive into one of the most incredible modern rarities ever discovered, the 2006 Lincoln 1 cent coin. A coin that under normal circumstances is nothing more than a simple copper-plated zinc penny that people toss into jars, leave in their car cup holders, or spend without a second thought. But one particular specimen of this coin has become legendary in the world of numismatics because of the breathtaking combination of errors and mistakes that transformed it from a common cent into a coin valued at a jaw-dropping $24 million. And in this script we are going to break down every detail about how such a coin could exist, what types of errors and possibilities are involved, why collectors and investors are willing to pay such unimaginable amounts, and how the story of this coin serves as a reminder that fortune can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places. So let us begin with the basics. In 2006, the United States Mint continued striking billions of Lincoln cents, each bearing the familiar obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909, and the Union Shield design had not yet replaced the reverse, so the coin still carried the Lincoln Memorial. And with such massive production numbers, one would think that quality control at the mint would eliminate almost all major mistakes. But in reality, even in the age of advanced minting technology, there are rare moments when multiple things go wrong at the same time. And that is exactly what happened with the legendary 2006 penny worth $24 million. The first and most striking error visible on this coin is a doubled die obverse, meaning that when the die was hubbed it created a doubled image, and as a result, when the coin was struck, Lincoln's portrait, his eyes, his mouth, and the date 2006 all show clear, bold doubling, which makes the coin immediately stand out under magnification. And doubling errors by themselves can create coins worth thousands, especially when the doubling is dramatic and obvious. But in this case, the doubled die is only the beginning of the story, because this coin also exhibits an off-center strike so dramatic that nearly 30% of the design is missing, leaving a crescent of blank planchette exposed. And while off-center strikes are not uncommon, having one combined with strong doubling makes the coin vastly rarer, almost like a perfect storm of minting accidents. And the intrigue deepens when we consider reports that this coin may have been struck on the wrong planchette entirely, possibly a blank intended for a dime or even for a foreign coin, which changes the weight and composition of the coin and makes it an extraordinary rarity, because wrong planchette errors are among the most highly sought after in numismatics, often commanding 6- and 7-figure prices, even when they appear on common modern coins. So when you take a wrong planchette strike and add doubling and an off-center strike, you begin to see why this 2006 penny is not just a curiosity but a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece of minting errors. And it does not stop there, because this coin also shows evidence of die cracks running across the obverse and reverse, raised ridges of extra metal caused by fractures in the die, and collectors love these because they show the wear and damage of the minting equipment itself, like scars that tell the story of the coin's creation. And in some cases, these die cracks expand into full die cuts where parts of the design are obliterated and replaced with a blob of metal, something that can look very dramatic. And on this coin, such a cud reportedly appears near the rim, eating into the design of the memorial and creating a visual anomaly that is both unmistakable and highly desirable. And to make matters even more fascinating, there is evidence of multiple strikes, meaning the coin was struck by the dies more than once, creating overlapping or ghost-like images of Lincoln's face and parts of the memorial on the reverse, giving it an almost surreal appearance. And multiple strikes are some of the most prized errors because they are extremely rare in modern minting, where coins are supposed to be struck only once and quickly ejected. So for one to be struck twice or more and still escape the mint is a true marvel. And when you combine all these elements, doubled die, off-center strike, wrong planchette, die cracks and cuds, multiple strikes, you have a coin that defies probability, a coin that by all rights should not even exist, and yet it does. And that is why it commands a valuation of $24 million. And you might be asking yourself why a coin like this, just a penny, could be worth that much. And the answer lies in 3 key elements: rarity, demand, and the story. Rarity because the coin is likely one of a kind, or at most one of only a handful. Demand because collectors and investors compete fiercely for the chance to own the rarest and most spectacular pieces. And story because this coin captures the imagination in a way that few others can, representing not just a mistake but a cascade of mistakes that slipped through every level of inspection and made its way into the hands of someone who recognized its value. And stories like this resonate deeply with people because they speak to the dream of finding hidden treasures in ordinary life. and they remind us that even the smallest overlooked objects can sometimes carry extraordinary worth. Now let's think about how such a coin could have been created. Imagine the Denver or Philadelphia Mint in 2006 running at full speed, billions of blanks being fed into presses, dies being replaced after thousands of strikes, machinery operating at incredible speed, and then something unusual happens. A foreign planchette or dime blank gets mixed into the cent blanks. The die being used has a doubling flaw. The planchette does not seat properly and ends up off-center. The die itself has developed cracks from overuse, and somehow instead of being rejected or destroyed, the coin is struck multiple times and then escapes into circulation, ending up in pocket change where it might have gone unnoticed for days, weeks, or even years, until finally someone sharp-eyed spotted the unusual features and realized they were holding something extraordinary, and from there, the legend of the 2006 penny was born. And the very possibility that a coin like this could still be out there today inspires countless collectors to check their own change, to examine every cent, every dime, every quarter for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual weight, because as this story proves, treasures really can be hiding in plain sight, and that is part of what makes the world of coin collecting so exciting. It is not just about history and metal, it is about the thrill of discovery, the chase, and the possibility of turning a penny into millions, and beyond the financial value. Coins like the 2006 era penny also hold artistic and historical value. They are physical examples of the imperfections of human technology, of the flaws in the minting process, and they become symbols of rarity and survival, treasured by collectors not just for their price tags but for their uniqueness. And that is why auctions featuring spectacular era coins draw so much attention. Because they are not just selling metal, they are selling stories, dreams, and one-of-a-kind artifacts, and the 2006 penny is the perfect example. A coin that combined every type of dramatic era into one single specimen, a coin that has captured the imagination of the numismatic community, and a coin that today stands as one of the most valuable pennies ever known, worth an unbelievable $24 million, and the legend of this coin continues to grow, inspiring both seasoned collectors and everyday people alike to pay closer attention to the change in their pockets, because the next great discovery could be waiting there, and who knows, maybe you or someone watching this right now could be the next person to find a penny with rare eras that changes your life forever, and that is why we continue to share these stories, to remind everyone that fortune can sometimes be found in the smallest and most unexpected places, and that even a penny can hold a story worth millions.